Hi everyone, I'm Daneen O'Donnell and welcome to May's Music Shop. And I am with Josh May, whose family has owned this business for many, many years. And Josh, we were just talking about this before we turned the cameras on. So give me a little bit of history of exactly how May's came to be.
My grandparents, my dad's stepfather and his mother started the store in 1926. My grandparents did 50 years in the music business. My dad did 56 years in the music business. My mother did 41 years in the music business. I've been here for 25. In the mid-70s, when my grandmother passed away, my father took the store over solely, changed it from Traders, which a lot of people would remember, to May's Music Shop. And we've been going ever since, 94 years.
And you've been in a couple different locations. You said you started on North Street.
North Street. This is our third location. North Street behind Worsley's, if anybody would remember that. We were on West Jefferson Street for 15 years, and we've been on this location on East Jefferson Street for 25 now.
And tell me a little bit about how you feel the music business has changed since it started. You said your step-grandfather sort of started with all kinds of things.
You know, when my grandfather started the business, it was everything. It was music. It was small appliances, refrigerators, radios. They did band instruments, orchestra instruments, very large record store. When my parents took it over, they streamlined much more and just focused on band and orchestra, music lessons, print music, guitar, all that side of the true music business.
Well, I've been looking around your store and I got so excited when I came in and even saw musical socks and flip-flops. You have everything in here. Tell me what some of the bigger items are. What are you most known for? I know you can get lessons here, buy instruments. So give us an idea of the different things you can do at May's.
Probably one of the best things we're known for is renting band and orchestra instruments for the elementary school, the high school kid, the middle school kid. We have one of the most comprehensive, one of the most fairly priced, and the best rental deals you can find anywhere. Of course, we do a lot with the guitars. We do, print music has still always been our staple because no matter what instrument you play, you always need that piece of music to read.
You're right.
You know, and the music business has changed quite a bit over the years. School band and orchestra is still very popular, but unfortunately, a lot of class sizes or graduating class sizes have gotten smaller and smaller over the years.
They have.
So it makes it a little bit tougher. Our music lessons are very popular still. I have 18 teaching studios at the store here.
Wow.
With, I'd have to probably say 27, 28 teachers utilizing that space. They all rent space from me. They keep their own schedules. Lessons are all here. They're all a one-on-one private lesson. Okay. So you're not stuck in a group. Your child, or if you're an adult taking lessons, you get all the attention and you get all the knowledge given to you at your pace. So you're not stuck with a group.
Yeah.
That's always make lessons the better way to go privately. You know, so we still do about 350, 375 lessons a week.
Wow.
So that's amazing. One of our big staples too. Yeah, it's just, you know, we have always, going back to my grandparents and my parents, we've always tried to make doing music, playing an instrument, getting lessons as affordable and as accessible as possible.
And you talked a little bit too about how during COVID it sort of helped in a way because kids had time.
A lot of people had time. Even though kids weren't in school, moms and dads were still calling asking about private lessons. Of course, we were not able to do private lessons for a couple months at the beginning of 2020. Once we got the go-ahead, you know, we kind of followed along with the hair salons, the barber shops, stuff like that. We, you know, limited the access to the waiting room. Of course, the lessons were always one-on-one. teacher's mask, student mask. We did plastic dividers in the rooms.
Oh, okay.
So if we had, a kid that was going to take a flute lesson or a trumpet lesson, we had portable dividers that could go in between, so the teacher could still be close enough to see what the child's doing, right or wrong, and still be as safe as possible.
What is something that you think that people would find really interesting about Mays that they might not know?
Probably one of the most fascinating things is my grandfather, Harvey Trader. Before he had the music store, before he started it in 1926, one of his jobs in the past was he worked for Thomas Edison, selling Edison phonographs. And he would travel all over the country, a lot of East Coast stuff, but he would travel by train, by bus, car, even some places he did have to do horse and buggy. He set up the Edisons on the pier in New Jersey for anybody that would come. He would go to any Grange Hall, any you name it community organization that would we'll buy one for our library, we'll buy one for our civic club, whatever. So yeah, that's probably the most unique part about our family's past. The other thing are the old instruments that are up on the wall. My father collected those instruments from previous customers, from family members that didn't have anybody to pass the instrument on to. My father would always want to make sure that that musician or that instrument was remembered and shown and preserved.
And I think you not only do things like that and teach lessons and you have the antique instruments and all kinds of fun stuff, but I think you also do instrument repair here for people?
We do a ton of instrument repair. Since we do a lot of band and orchestra rental, we have to do upkeep on that stuff. We do a ton of that repair right in-house. I do have an independent guy that I do send some repairs to whenever we get overwhelmed. As far as all guitar, violin repair, it is all done in-house right here. I've been doing repair. My father taught me how to do stuff with the 13 years that I got to work with my father. And I pride myself as a very good repairman. One of the interesting things is I can repair all the instruments, I can test all the instruments, but I am not a practicing musician. I took years of piano lessons when I was a child, but it's been decades since I have sat down and played instruments.
That would be fascinating to know.
So yeah, it's kind of hard for the guy that owns the music store doesn't play in a band doesn't. Yeah, it's just it's not in the cards. I have plenty of stuff to do without sitting down and playing.
And really, in a sense, music has been in your blood since you were born.
Since I was a child, yeah, definitely. It's been ingrained in us. I have a son that unfortunately will not be going into the music business, but hopefully when I am done, there'll be somebody out there that'll still want to have it in their system.
I know.
And maybe keep on rolling.
I hope so. How can people find out more about Mays, like your hours, or if they have questions about things you do here? We
have a nice presence on Facebook, a little bit on Instagram. Of course, they can always just call the store. Somebody's going to answer the phone, and we'll be glad to answer any question that you would have, whether it be, how do I get my kids started in lessons? I've always wanted to play the violin. I've always wanted to learn how to read music. So, that's still the best thing. Call in the store, stop in the store. We'll be glad to spend some time with you and tell you about what we can do to help you achieve your music goal.
Well, Josh, I appreciate so much finding out more. And folks, if you have not been into Mays Music, I suggest you come here. There's so many fun things to look at and music you can buy, instruments, and even socks and flip-flops. For Armstrong, this has been Daneen O'Donnell with Business as Usual. If you enjoyed this episode of Business as Usual and would like to see more, click on the playlist button up here. To catch all your programming on the Armstrong Neighborhood channel, click on the subscribe button down here. I suggest you do both.